Minister Nabbanja rose from the humble hamlets of Kakumiro through the greasy pole of elective politics to shatter the glass ceiling as Uganda's first female Prime Minister. Upon her appointment, some critics said she's a run-of-the-mill politician who is not grounded in statecraft. But the Premier says she's pragmatic and competent, and this is why the President appointed her to this coveted office. Amongst her key tasks as leader of government business is to smoothly run the different ministries, departments, and agencies of government to improve service delivery. This is Citizen Voices, and I'm your host, Emmanuel Mutaizibwa. This evening we have a very special guest, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Minister Nabbanja. We're very grateful that you made it for this show this evening. First things first, you recently shattered the glass ceiling to be appointed as the first female Prime Minister of Uganda in its history. You are currently the leader of government business. What do you intend to do to improve service delivery that is quite different from what your predecessors did?
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. First of all, good evening, Ugandans. I hope you are okay wherever you are. Thank you for the work you are doing for yourselves and for the country. First of all, allow me to say, how are you?
Very fine. Right Honorable.
Yes, I want to inform Ugandans that I'm only grateful to God for the opportunity to serve the country, and also thank government and through the President for the opportunity, because I know some critics may look at me as somebody who is not grounded, but the fact is I'm not new. I started from the ground. I started as councillor, RDC. I'm a businesswoman. You didn't know that. And of course, I have served as a minister. I served as a treasurer of Parliament. I served as a commissioner of Parliament, and now Prime Minister. So I think throughout I have been gathering experience. And I want to inform Ugandans that I know my role. Of course, it is constitutional, coordinating the government ministries like you have put it, and of course, monitoring, supervision, evaluation. By the way, I did a master's degree in monitoring and evaluation. So the critics, I think, are not really being fair here. How do you judge me in just a short while? By the way, these days they had even kept quiet, if you have been following properly. And some people are saying, no, they are doing that because they think they see you as a woman. Being the first female Prime Minister in the country, the first female Prime Minister of the country,
so
and
somebody
from a humble background. I don't blame them.
The President called you fisherman.
Of course, of course, because of the way I do my things, hands-on, and of course, follow-up. Our Ugandans are yearning for service delivery. Supervision, they are used to people who sit in offices and are brought reports, sometimes the reports which are not related with what was on ground. And that's why you are nowadays seeing ministers moving up and down. We are coordinated, by the way. The other time, remember, I was in Kasese.
Yes.
Yes.
And you found...
For me, I will not cover up. I will not cover up. When we found that the materials and the items we are going to give our people were substandard, outrightly. For me, I will not cover up for graft. I will not cover up for anybody. The other day we were in Nakasongola and we found that there is a road or a bridge that is supposed to be constructed by Omega as a company. Since 2018, they have failed to complete the bridge. Billions of shillings have been paid. I caused the meeting I caused the meeting. We went through why was this man not delivering. So in 2 days, I asked the ministers to go back and establish the truth. You saw what was happening on TV. I remember I saw something on your TV.
Yes, I also saw the Kasese incident.
Of course.
So in essence, ministers are now more proactive because you as the leader, you're going to the ground, you're
I am leading by example. This business of sitting in our offices so that the reports can find us here without us seeing what is happening is not my style of work. And members of parliament, together with the local leaders, have appreciated this. And that's why you are also seeing members of parliament moving down. We also agreed with the parliamentary leadership, I'm a commission of parliament, that members of parliament should be also given time to go and monitor. That's why you have seen, because I'm a commission of parliament also, being a prime minister, it's constitutional. That's why you are seeing them now talk about Emyoga, which was not the case before. We would stay at parliament until maybe, unless when you are a member of parliament, we would decide by yourself, let me go to monitor, do this and this. Ministers are moving on ground. This is the norm, and it will not stop. Like you have said, I will not get tired. Yes.
My question is, for a very long span of time, the question of corruption has turned into a kind of Achilles heel for this country. To use an idiom, it's like a dragon with, let's say, 12 heads. When you cut off this head, another emerges, sprouts. It is part of the fabric of this of society. It manifests at every level of society. What are you going to do differently to confront corruption? We've already heard the mafia is coming after you.
I think corruption can be fought on two fronts. One, by punishing the culprits through the rightful procedures, through the investigative arm of government. You know, we have IGG, we have the Nakalema, the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, and many others, Auditor General and many others. We can also do preventive. How? By directly supervising all of us, the local leaders, the members of parliament, the ministers, and that is proactive if we can prevent. For me, I feel I should not really do post-mortem. It's better to prevent than doing post-mortem. Exactly. You know, these are the MDAs and these are the government agencies. They do post-mortem.
Yeah, Auditor General does.
You saw what I did in Kasese.
Post-mortem.
I did not do post-mortem. I did not wait for post-mortem. And two, I want us to also be a little more active so that whoever takes the money of government coughs it. That's why now, for example, remember the system I brought, the policy I brought of cash relief for the vulnerable people. Those people of Guru who did not know that this was a trap, they will answer.
So was it a trap? We'll come to that question.
No, they will answer definitely because they are known.
Was it a trap indeed?
I remember coming here and telling them, my brothers and sisters, this one is not the usual one. Because they used it because it was, of course I know they are fighting it. Even you people of this station, you went to Guru and saw the first beneficiary. I remember watching here, somebody, CU is called, who I'm even forgetting.
Yes, exactly. There was lots of publicity in regard to that.
Now, if that man is there, that's why for me, after getting data, the data was coming from responsible officers, the town clerks. Those are not small people. They would go, get the data, get the people, the vulnerable people, put them on the data bank. and then transfer that data to Ministry of Gender. From Ministry of Gender, they would transfer that data to Post Bank. That's why it was very easy for me to get records, and I laid on table.
Right Honourable, we'll come to that question, but
Yes.
before we leave the question in regard to graft, you've said many interesting things. You've talked about the fact that we have quite a number of agencies, we have very good laws, we have quite good policies, but like in the past, like to put it frankly, what Justice John Bosco Katusi said, that the problem in regard to the fight against graft in this country is we seem to go after the small folks, what he calls mukene, the small fish, and we leave the big shots. So in essence, this emboldens people want to carry out acts of graft. If you simply go after a policeman, yes, I know it's not good, it's illegal, has taken a bribe of 10,000, and someone who has taken 10 billion shillings is given a slap on the wrist. There appears to be a problem in regard to that.
That happened during my leadership.
Well,
you know, the other time, I don't think people who work in Prime Minister's office are small people. Are they?
They are not. Actually, it
Aren't
was a
they
demo.
interdicted? There are some questions which are self-defeating. That, if that has been happening, it's going to change. It's going to change. Of course, we have built a team. You see the ministers now, all of them moving out. It is because we have a team. We have a team. You have seen the president, the way he has been addressing the nation. We now have built a team and muscle, political muscle. And I believe we only need you, people like you. We need the press. We need you. We need the civil society, the churches. We also need Ugandans. So that everybody now, because we cannot fight graft alone in the offices and ministries. We also need local people. We need local councils. That's why wherever I have been, I make sure that the following day, all after 3 days, I have meetings. I have met the leaders of Kasese, and we have made some progress. I have met the leaders of Nakasongola. I have met the leaders of Ulambuli. I have met the leaders of Kakumiro. I have met a number of leaders of Ulisa. You see what I'm talking about. We cannot, even if when we struggle this side of Kampala, without involving the local leaders, because service delivery is done at local level, and therefore we want to involve everybody. That's why I'm here. I'm now also recruiting you. So it is not, you cannot fight this alone. We also have to recruit parents.
That's true.
Such that when they are bringing up their children, they inculcate the morals, the fabric that is supposed to be, that will help this nation to move forward. The religious leaders, you have seen me having meetings with the religious leaders. It is everybody. Mine is just to coordinate. I cannot deceive you that I will fight it alone. You and me have a role to play.
That's very reassuring, because some of your critics were saying that the way it's going to be quite difficult for you to micromanage. You could have a burnout. So in essence, are you suggesting that it's going to be a team effort to be able to, patrol every pocket of the country, fight graft, ensure that services are delivered?
You have been following all my trips. Have I ever been alone? I have been moving with a number of ministers. What does that mean? I have been moving with local leaders. What does that mean? Is that micromanagement? A prime minister is a coordinator of all government programs and ministries. We have a technical arm of government. You cannot be alone and do everything. So those critics, I know they are very unfair. They are gender insensitive. It is because I'm a woman. and they are used to women who are always in the kitchen. So yes, I must be sincere to you, because I believe the few days I've been in that office as a Prime Minister, there are a number of achievements we have made.
So typical patriarchal
Of
kind
course.
of sentiments.
Of course.
That a woman should be, her place is
I
in the
believe,
kitchen.
because remember the other day I was in Parliament, my brother Semuju, you know the utterances he has been, you know his utterances.
Yeah, but it's supposed to keep government ministers on their toes. That's why.
But you also have to respect, we have children, really.
Definitely.
We have our children. I'm not a small woman. I'm a big woman. I have children. I have graduates at home. My children are lawyers. Oh, yes.
That's
So somebody standing on the floor of Parliament to really start belittling me is really uncalled for.
Did he belittle you?
Of course. When somebody says you cannot even manage a company of garbage,
Yeah.
how do you feel that? And I think that should stop. Yes, I am a woman. He has his daughters, he has his mother, he has his other people who are women, and I believe he should give me a chance. And the others who are like him should give us an opportunity so that women can also do something. For me, I just want to praise the President for choosing me, for choosing my fellow women, and we are ready to serve, and we have started serving, and I can see there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Upon your appointment, the President made a veiled reference to some kind of elitist capture by perhaps office bearers who prefer to work in the offices, in the posh comfort of their office, and used another term of fishermen, those who are ready to get the spade and get their hands dirty. Are you one of the new fishermen of the President? And are we going to see results based on practical things that you're going to do?
Yes, I believe I'm a fisherwoman. Bearing in mind my history, there is nothing I've not seen in this country. I have risen from nowhere, My background is such that people could not even believe I can rise up to this level. And to me, I think I know what service delivery means. I know that somebody down there in the villages can be there and fail to have something to eat. That's why the other time I came up with the other strategy of cash release, because first of all, I knew that some of the money get lost through middlemen, and that did not go well with some people. I'm being sincere to you, we shall work. The fishermen will really help this government to move to some level.
As we speak, we've had the COVID pandemic, which has sent millions of Ugandans out of employment. Others have been furloughed. Many people are struggling as we speak. The economy is in a kind of tailspin. SMEs have collapsed. Many people have gone back to their villages, and unemployment is soaring. Where do we as a country start from in terms of trying to, COVID has not only battered Uganda, it's in every pocket of this world.
It's a global problem.
Yes, but as Ugandans, what do we need to do to uplift this economy? We seem to see a stark contrast of what are the public expectations, where we seem to be, buying things like luxurious vehicles for the most paid civil servants, for members of parliament. Yes, they need cars, but if the gulf between the poor and rich has been widened as a result of the COVID pandemic, don't you think we are out of touch with the kind of actions that government is taking that we don't expect from government?
The fact is the economy is doing badly. It's a reality, not only here in Uganda, but globally. And therefore, government is coming up with a number of responses. Yes. Remember the other time when our people were almost lacking what to eat, the strategy we brought.
Yes, please.
That's one. Two, in order for us to mitigate this, we also think we should vaccinate. We should vaccinate everybody so that we first of all secure the life of our people, like many other economies have done. Then we also, that's why we had to open. We did not open because we had gone on top of everything. We still had 8%. Do you remember?
Yes, please.
8% of our people, we are still struggling with the problem. But because we thought we needed, and of course, we have sensitized our people. We have to live with COVID. Sensitization has always been on its peak, remember? Through the Ministry of Health, there are a number of interventions that we have made. Continuous testing, including testing those people who come from other countries into here. But most importantly, remember, we want to see people back on their foot. The big companies, remember we have the bank, the development bank. They are those we have advised to go.
Uganda Development Bank.
Yes, to go and get support from those banks. On the other hand, we are also looking at, in fact, tomorrow I have a meeting, the National Task Force meeting, so that we can prepare our people and see how best do we have our children back to school. How best do we, have these other measures that will keep our children without getting infected. That's why you are seeing us now vaccinating our teachers. That is not enough. We are also introducing the parish model. The parish model will help us to go to the parish as a country. Those people that have not been benefiting, this time around we feel they will benefit. The only challenge we had was the budget. Remember, we had the budget cuts so that we can have some other responses, quick responses to COVID pandemic. We had to buy, oxygen cylinders. We had to look after the sick. Those were in our isolation centers. Those who were having those in critical conditions who needed oxygen. Remember, so we had to prepare all that, and therefore there was a budget cut. But that's not enough. We are targeting now to see that all Ugandans can benefit from the parish model. The parish model definitely will also absorb other people who have not been in the money economy. We are going to put 100 million per parish in the next financial year. This financial year was not easy because of the pandemic, because of budget cuts, but even then we are starting with 14.5 million per parish. So next financial year we are putting 100 million per parish, and this money will be used by our people, such that those people who go and benefit, they can also now start, small projects. They can go farming. If, say, for example, you borrow like 5 million at parish, if everybody borrows 5 million per parish, those will be 20 people. 20? Yes, those will be 20. Now, if each person borrows 1 million, those will be 100 people. 100 people per parish. You can use, what can you use in a million? Let me give you as a fisherwoman. In 1 million, if, say, for example, you did piggery, each piglet costs approximately between 100 and 120. If you look after that piglet, a piglet can give you 15 piglets after 1 year or after 6 months, depending on how you look after your pig. And each piglet costs 100. In just 6 months, one person will be having almost 1.5 million. If you buy, say for example, if you buy 5 piglets, and leave the balance to look after the piglets. And that means how much? You will have 500. 500, 1.5 times 5. That would be 7.5 in 6 months.
Very good point. Right Honorable Prime Minister, we're going to take a commercial break. You're watching Citizen Voices. Let's have a commercial break, and when we return, we'll interrogate other issues, including Emyoga and the relief cash. You're watching Citizen Voices. Let's have a commercial break. We have this evening a special guest, the Right Honorable Prime Minister Minister Nabbanja. Before we went to the break, you made a very, you're speaking about the Emyoga. And on paper it sounds...
I was speaking about the parish model.
Yeah, the parish model, which more or less has an element of the Emyoga, yes. And the parish model on paper sounds quite interesting. But the question out there, is, we've had many of these, quite sounding programs by government, Bonabagagawale, Operation Wealth Creation, the list is endless. What is going to change in regard to the parish model? What's that magic wand that's going to, transform people's lives in regard to this much vaunted program by government?
I want to assure you that some of the programs and projects that we have been carrying out have been far from the people. The Emyoga program is at constituency level, but that one is targeting the other group of people, the business people, the saloon, the borders, those ones. And this one is now targeting the village-based person. It is targeting the farmers. It is, I believe, those people who are doing our day-to-day activities. And of course, I believe people will now have a chance to choose what to do, but technically guided. Technically guided. The enterprise somebody will come with will be technically guided, because the parish will be manned by the sub-county and the district technical team as overseers. We have also set a committee. Usually we have a committee at district level that approves, but this time the parish leaders will be the ones to approve the beneficiaries. And of course the parish leaders come from villages. We have identified the chairman LOC2 as the head of that committee. The secretary will be the parish chief, and the parish chiefs are usually diploma holders. That is it, that's the qualification.
Perhaps I think...
Yes, the parish chief. Yes, we have been having a problem. Some parishes don't have parish chiefs. So we already have sent money to the districts to recruit parish chiefs. Let me take this opportunity now that this is a national TV and everybody is watching. We already sent money to recruit parish chiefs in districts, and therefore we are requesting the district service commissions across the country to recruit parish chiefs, because the project is on now. Then we also identified a woman leader at parish level, and that is the chairperson of Women Council at parish level. Each parish has that person. The youth council chairperson. So that the other issue of youth can also be, youth can be taken care of. The PWD will be on that committee. And then an opinion leader. A total of 7 people will man that committee. And we have put a small budget for them to sit at least every month to identify the beneficiaries. So that now people don't say, the one who got NAD's money is the same who gets Emyoga, is the same who gets what. So this time, it's the local leaders. And we are saying the local leaders this time around, please, try to make sure that everybody benefits from this program.
So in essence, these new measures that you're putting in place.
That's why I told you,
yes,
we have to involve everybody.
Are those the things, are those the inadequacies?
Yes, those were some of the gaps.
Yes, in the other
programs. Those were some of the
gaps
we are trying to bridge. Those were some of the loopholes we are trying to bridge. And I believe this time around, people will benefit from them. If you don't benefit this year, then you will benefit next year. The total population at parish level is known. On average, each village can have about an average of 100 homesteads or 90 homesteads. And therefore, if we say, let us, even if it is 1 million per person, by the way, 1 million is in the villages is some money. You can do something, even if you started poultry farming.
It has quite some intrinsic value.
You can try and start. And by the way, these people are not starting now. They are doing their activities. And of course, we believe that if we get 100 people per year, then next year 100, next year 100, 5 years before our term of office expires, the NRM term of office expires, we shall have 500 people per parish. And that's a big number. Even if it is 300 people from poverty into money economy is a big achievement for this government.
Right, Honorable, one of your first assignments was to distribute relief cash to the most vulnerable. One, why did you opt to use that method of work, which was quite different from the first time we had
food?
Yes, when we had food. And two, you seem to have spent perhaps what was the criteria for you to decide that each household should get the amount that you gave?
The office of the Prime Minister has got technical people who support the decisions that I make. Secondly, we had 3 consecutive meetings. 3, remember? Because I was seeing them aired here, of the National Task Force. We sat as a national task. This decision is not in mine. It's for the national government. Yeah. Even cabinet. It's not my personal decision.
Okay.
We agreed as cabinet.
Yeah, because you take collective responsibility.
Yes.
I agree.
It's not personal.
Yes, please.
Now, after agreeing that really, if somebody is given 100,000, that money can push somebody. One, look at the choice a person makes. Yesterday, but when I saw some old woman, instead of buying food for her, she had kaunga. She bought iron sheets. And that is a big choice somebody made. Secondly, we cut costs. You know, the people, the suppliers who give us, they supply us with a profit. So that profit was an additive or an additional. It added some more kilograms of posho if one was to buy posho. And of course, those middlemen are not happy. They are still fighting up to today. This was a successful program by all standards. One, if we are to go through the procurement process, you know the process, how long it takes. You know the process.
Yes,
but this time around,
it's protracted.
We spent only 3 weeks, 2 weeks in fact. The third one, people had the money on their account. Definitely, we, of course, you know that the data was coming, like I already told you, the data was coming from the town clerks. The only challenge we had was at data entrance and collection. But by and large, this was a successful program. To me, I count it at almost 97% successful.
Yes, it could have had glitches, right, Honorable?
This was a big program, by the way.
Yes.
It could have had glitches. You cannot avoid glitches.
Exactly.
Yes.
But one can, the argument out there is you borrow $1 billion from the IMF, and you're only giving households who are And a lockdown of 42 days, each household 100,000.
There are those who did not give.
And you only gave 500,000.
It's like as if you think we gave every Ugandan.
No, you didn't. You only gave 500,000.
For us, we identified the people who were most vulnerable
yes.
and affected.
Yes. The National House...
Affected by the lockdown. I want people to take note
yes.
of this. Because we only managed to give people who earn from hand to mouth.
Exactly. Right Honourable, my question is, the National Household Survey of, I think, the year 2017 that UBOS carried out shows that an average family, the most kind of, let's say a vulnerable family in Uganda, needs nearly 350,000 Uganda shillings as part of, to go through a month in terms of buying basic things like food. So what was the rationale of you arriving at 100,000 shillings? Why couldn't you say, perhaps let's give each vulnerable...
You are speaking as if you are from London. Are you Ugandan?
I am Ugandan.
Are you aware that even government was not collecting revenue during the
definitely
lockdown?
know, but we borrowed.
Where did you expect? Of course, when we borrow, we pay.
Borrowed.
Are you aware we pay?
We definitely pay. So why couldn't we say, for
that
instance...
was government money. We did not borrow this money, we had it.
We have to pay.
Now, I want to ask you one question.
Yes,
please. Did you expect us to stop all other government
not at
programs
all.
and
not
projects?
At all. Perhaps you
No, I want you to note that really this time round,
yes,
government tried. Kenya gave money, you are aware. And how much did they give? We are a developing country. We gave our Ugandans what we could afford. Of course, we knew some Ugandans were also struggling on their own. This was just a contribution. We even called it a contribution. What are you trying to insinuate?
Right, Honourable. Right, Honourable. The view out there is,
yes.
For instance,
and let me tell you,
we are going to definitely pay back this money, but instead of prioritizing the purchase of vehicles for the highest paid civil servants,
which one?
For members of parliament who receive a vehicle, and some of them are ministers who have also received a vehicle. Why, if we really are a government that, you know, listens to the voice of the ordinary people, why couldn't we prioritize the most vulnerable person and postpone? There's even
no,
been
I think you are asking a question as if you don't know that governments have three arms of government. The legislature, that is parliament. Parliament has got its own budget, and they prioritize their budgets and needs depending on the season, on what they are going to do. So Parliament had already prioritized before our lockdown to buy cars for the new members of Parliament. You are aware some of the members of Parliament were coming on a border, and you expect them to go and monitor government programs and projects. They are the roles of members of Parliament. Okay, one of them is oversight.
Yes.
Oversight does not mean sitting in the chairs and getting ministers and civil servants and asking them questions. They also have to go and see
That's true.
what is happening. Some of the members of Parliament, their background. And I believe Parliament, that was their priority. Members of Parliament have their car. And the money, by the time we went into a lockdown, was already on the account of Parliament. And I don't want you to ask me more questions. Ask me those related to my...
Okay.
So members of Parliament definitely have a right to move. Some people were saying, why couldn't they move on a border? Can you move on a border and go to Kakumiro? You need transport. Yes.
Perhaps government could give them loans, but I will not stick to that. In your view, what do you think are the most critical challenges that this country is faced with?
Currently, the most critical challenge is COVID. It's a big challenge. We want to save every life in Uganda. Of course, Ugandans are also responsible, but it's a big challenge. It's not only in Uganda, it's global. The other challenge I see now in the country are these panga-wielding people
Yes.
in Masaka. And of course, you know the reasons, because I've been seeing a lot of things on TV.
What are the reasons, Right Honorable? We seem to, at least we don't know the motive.
The motive is not yet known.
We don't know.
But
who
of
is
course,
behind
the
this.
number, let me mention a few. I'm told some of the issues are because of land. People are fighting over some pieces of land. That's one. Two, thuggery, these village thugs. Three, there are those unknown motives of those people we don't know yet. But of course, we shall get to know who people say intelligence is telling us are politically motivated. Politically motivated, and they want to, they are taking away the lives of all the people. Some are politically, I will stop there. I will not go into details.
When you say politically motivated, what do you mean exactly? Are you trying to suggest that? No,
some people think
these are acts being instigated by, opposition political
I'm
parties?
giving you a compound of reasons. One is thuggery. Some people in the villages think because of the other actions that are being taken by the other people, other thugs are also taking advantage. Are you understanding what I'm talking about? Thuggery in the villages. They cut the other man the other day. So if this one knows that that one has some money, that person now also under the cover of the insecurity that is there, somebody goes also to do something. Others have their, the relationships that have gone bad because they know there are men who are wielding pangas and cutting and killing people. So those are also there. They are taking advantage. And some of them have been arrested, by the way. I want to thank our security agencies who have helped us to go on top of this. It will end. I am talking as the Prime Minister of this country. I have a lot of trust in our security agencies. This will end. It will come to an end. We shall go over this. But I wanted to also mobilize our citizens in that area, Masaka, and many other parts, because you may think it is only in Masaka when they are planning to go in other areas. That let us all be on alert. Yes, the village security committees should be functional and revitalized. You can see now we have really deployed both uniformed and non-uniformed police officers and other security agencies. And by the way, I want to request our people in Masaka, including members of parliament, whether you're in opposition or not, you need to go down and help us mobilize our people so that they know that together we can go on over this.
Right Honorable, I still want to ask, you talked about some of these attacks being politically motivated. What exactly did you mean? Did you mean it's the politics at the grassroots? Is it politics at the national level?
I gave you a number.
They didn't,
yes.
Okay? Scenarios you talked about, people who are taking advantage.
I gave you a number of scenarios.
How does that fit within the ambit of what you said, that these are politically motivated killings?
You have been following. I don't want to go in details. You have been following. That is what I have told you.
Okay. There's been concern that, yes, right now the situation seems to be improving, but it took a bit of time.
This is not a cat-rat chase, like you can see security people running over these people because they come at night. And secondly, you will realize that since 24th of August, we heavily deployed in Masaka. And I believe that people are aware that mobilizing security is also need a cost. We had to mobilize the resources, of course. That's why I want to mobilize leaders, that it's good for us to prevent these events to happen in our areas than waiting for them to come.
As we come nearly towards the end of this program, I want to ask you, what do you want to be remembered for as Uganda's first female Prime Minister?
It's a tough question. I don't want to be remembered for the words I said, like now. I want to be remembered for actions, for service delivery, for actions, you know what I'm talking about. And as the first female Ugandan Prime Minister who struggled together with the president and other leaders to succeed and make Ugandans receive services, I want to be remembered for those actions that we shall have taken as a government.
You have heard it all, from the backwaters of Kakumiro to the right up to one of the highest seats in the land. The Right Honorable Prime Minister, who says she wants to be remembered for actions, for taking very pragmatic decisions, and for improving service delivery. Thank you once again. You've been watching Citizen Voices, and for all the Ugandans who have tuned in this evening across the pockets of this country, have a great evening. I've been your host, Emmanuel Mutaiziwa. Cheers.